Good morning, gamers. It's time to showcase another one of the LOFT character classes as we continue to move through the Old School Essentials Advanced Player's Book, with a link to it in the doodly-doo below. So today we're talking about the Bard. The Bard has undergone a few changes as our favorite game has moved along for the past almost 5 decades. In the original first edition of our favorite game, the Bard was a weird split-class, multi-class thing that was in an appendix in the back of the player's handbook. To play a Bard, you had to start out as a fighter and make a certain level as fighter, and then you added thief, made a certain level as thief, and then you added druid and made a certain level as druid. Now they chose druid because they wanted to go for a Celtic flavored Bard. In Old School Essentials, they just simplify all that. In Old School Essentials, they just made a Bard class. What happened to the Bard in the mainstream brand of our favorite game was by the time we got to second edition, the Bard was just a class, regular class that started at first level just like everybody else, and that's what it's been ever since in the mainstream version of our favorite game. Now, in second edition, they didn't have the Bard do druidic magic anymore. They had the Bard do regular magic user magic. And then by the time they got to third edition, they decided that Bards needed their own kind of magic. And so there's been a Bard spell list for, third, fourth, and fifth editions of our favorite game. Now, next year in 2024, when the people who unfortunately own the rights to the brand name of our favorite game. So this is sort of like, no, it's not just sort of, it's exactly like, the word Band-Aid was originally the leading brand of Band-Aids, and it just became the word. Xerox started out as the word Xerox started out as the leading brand of copy machines, and then it just became the word. The word Kleenex started out as the leading brand of facial tissues, and it just became the word. And so Dungeons and Dragons is the original brand name of our favorite game. But if we just call it D&D, it's just like calling Kleenex Kleenex. You don't mean the brand. It's in the dictionary now. When you call a Band-Aid, you're not necessarily talking about the brand. It's in the dictionary now. Same thing with I'm just going to make a Xerox of this page. That doesn't mean that the copy machine that I use is necessarily going to be a Xerox brand copy machine. So it is exactly the same thing. So in our favorite game, though, what happens next year, I guess, in the new version that's coming out in 2024, is they're doing away with spell lists for classes. They're going to kind of follow a more Pathfinder-ish path. That's another brand name, is Pathfinder. It's all the same game, though. They're going to just, according to, obviously they could change it if they wanted to, but what they're saying now is they're just going to have arcane, divine, and primal types of magic. They're not necessarily going to have types of magic based around particular character classes anymore. So, the old school is, so we've had the Bard 3 different ways. We've had Bards, Celtic flavored ones that use druidic magic. We've had magic user Bards, and we've also had Bards that had their own type of magic. And the lore around that is that Bards still can sing some of the echoes of the Song of Creation or something like that. Now, in the LOFT project, we're using Old School Essentials as our main game engine. And so the LOFT Bard is the Old School Essentials Bard. So it's Celtic flavored, going to be using druid spells. However, there is, if you're more of a fan of the Bard that uses magic user spells, we have a video coming out soon-ish. I mean, we're adding one of these every day. We got a lot to cover. Right now we're getting through the Old School Essentials material. Once we get through the Old School Essentials material, that's going to include the rest of the Old School Essentials Advanced Player's Book and the Carcass Crawler zines. Carcass Crawler is Old School Essentials official zine. Once we get through the official Old School Essentials material, then we'll start adding some other material to these videos. For instance, I keep mentioning the monk, and it's like, but John, Old School Essentials doesn't have a monk. I know, and it doesn't really feel like our favorite game without it. So we've got you covered, fans of martial arts and stuff. But there's a reason for the madness. So we're doing, or a method to the madness. So we're just want to make sure we get all the official Old School Essentials stuff covered first before we add anything that's not. So today, the Bard. And the very first bard that we had in Old School Essentials, his name is Orion. He plays on Wednesday nights. And Orion is the epic bard who took down, I think he was like second level or something, and first or second level, and he took down two fire salamanders by opening a bag of holding that had been dipped in a pond and contained 5,000 pounds of water. So that was pretty epic. Anyway, so bards are Celtically flavored in this version. We do have another version that's going to come out later. And bards, people who enjoy them, they're really fun. And I have fun DMing for bards. I rolled one up once, never really played them. I've never actually really played a bard myself, but bards are cool. I enjoy my bard NPCs. As the DM. So that's bards. We will make some more announcements soon about the Indiegogo and getting more involved in LOFT. There are still seats open down in the doobly-doo below. There's links where you can get signed up for some games and play now. In the meantime, I will see you around the gaming table.